Hey team, welcome to the next episode of the Yarns podcast. I had a bit of a break there, just recalibrating some things, but we're back, and this is an episode I've wanted to do for a while. Known you for a while now, going back a little bit. But Houston, how are you, bro?
Yeah, good, very good. Yeah, shucks, we have known for each other for a while. I think we did our CrossFit qualifying
Yeah,
level
01,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, fluff.
I
Ooh.
was talking to one of your bros when I got here, the coach. I forgot his name already. Sorry, bro.
Johnny.
Johnny.
Yeah.
Sorry, bro. Yeah, man, 2019.
Mm,
Yeah, because I know I had to get it because we were affiliating at the time, so
yeah.
someone had to have it. But let's go back. There was the bro from East Tamaki was on there too, Mikey.
Mikey, he was
Yeah,
there. Yeah, that's right. Man, we've been around, eh?
Levi from 808,
Yeah,
who's not at 808
yes.
anymore, but
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
OG crew.
so I remember getting my qualifications that weekend for
Mm.
CrossFit because my brother had opened up the
Yes,
Arena
yeah, yeah.
West, and I was a coach there and helping over there at the time. And yeah, man, like it's good to kind of still see a few familiar faces in the scene and stuff like that. So yeah,
Bro, it's so
we'll
good.
we'll, we'll becoming the old boys now,
If I, I remember that.
unfortunately.
I remember that course because like it was all about like movement standards and that kind of stuff. And when you break out for your practicals and everyone's squatting perfectly and that,
Mm,
and then our workout was like 21:59 thrusters and burpees.
that's right.
And
Yeah.
like
That's
technique
right.
went out the
Yeah.
window, right? Like
Yeah, that's right. They're like, yeah,
it's
this
on.
is good movement. They had
Yeah.
someone on the box, like, demonstrating what a perfect like squat and stuff is, and then you do the workout, and it's like out the gate.
Yeah, what are you
But
gonna do? I'll probably break it up into sevens. Like
yeah, everyone just trying to go unbroken.
I'm broken. But
But
anyway,
mean,
bro, Houston. First of all, thanks for jumping on, man.
all good.
Really appreciate it. So the episode, like I said, I've wanted to get on for a while. We've talked about it previously, so it's good to finally get up here. First time in your gym as well, which is awesome. Saw
Yeah.
headquarters. But before we get into like your life currently
Mhm.
and all that kind of stuff, but let's throw it back. The young Houston, where did he grow up? How did you get into fitness and all that jazz?
Yeah. Sweet. So, oh man, where do I start? I guess I've always. I was actually thinking about the other day. So I started training when I turned 15. That was the first time I ever walked into a gym.
Mm,
And my mate invited me. His dad like picked us up in a van. There was like a group of us, and he took us to Club Physical, Tiatu. So they're actually still down the road. And I remember just having like our first training session, and I was just like, "Flip,
mm,
this is like I really enjoy this." And so yeah, since then I just basically just like lived a lot of my life inside a gym,
yeah.
and then gradually got introduced to like CrossFit and stuff like that. Did like a little bit of like teen bodybuilding and stuff like that, but that was just gradually because I'm at the gym all the time. One of the trainers just hit me up, um, and yeah, and then just kind of like fitness is just stuck. I'm 31 now, so like what 15, 16 years, just being at least some sort of fitness has always been a part of my life.
Yeah.
And like when I was thinking about it the other day about what made me stay at the gym, I think it was just like I felt like it was like almost like I don't know. When I was younger, I didn't have many outlets, but that was it. That was one of them. You know what I mean? Like I got to
Yeah.
hang out with the boys, and we just got to like just like lift weights and just But like if you saw photos of me when I was younger, I was very very skinny.
All
Yeah, like
right.
I did like and like my family used to like my brother and my sister used to tell me like I could never put on like muscle and stuff like that, and like because I don't blame them, man. If I saw me too, I'd be like, yeah, I don't know, bro. You might need to choose a different route. But yeah, I think hearing that as well also just motivated me to be like, nah, like I want to get strong, all this kind of stuff, and I want to try to put on a little bit of like weight and all that kind of stuff. And I'll be honest, like back then, um those that were around me around then, I got strong, man. Like I
Mm.
got really, really strong. Like I mean, my bench went up to like I'm bragging now, but
Brag
but
away.
yeah, but like it's like I got real strong just like naturally. But that's just because like that's all I was doing. And like I said, I used it. I don't know then, but now I know now that I just used it as an outlet. Like, um, and that's where my happy place was.
Mm.
And so as you gradually grow up, you're like, man, I want to like work in the industry and stuff like that. So I get qualified. I got qualified in like when I was like 19, and I was working in the industry then. I was doing drainage at the same time, so made that transition. But yeah, like with the whole fitness thing, um, it made me like who I am, like a big part of who I am is the fitness industry and
Mm.
stuff like that, and just like the benefits of like training and the mental strength that it comes with. I didn't know all this, right? Like when I go in there, like I need to get bigger arms, bigger chests,
Yeah.
and it was never like me thinking this is helping my mental health or this is like making me mentally tough. Like I'm doing stuff that a lot of people don't want to do. Like it
Mm.
was like a gradual thing that I kind of learned over time. And so me understanding that, over the years made me want to allow myself to have other people feel like that, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. And so, you know, just naturally wanting to be in the fitness industry to help people and to serve them in a way that fitness served me, if that
Mhm.
makes sense. So yeah, and then now we're here. Obviously, it hasn't been a smooth ride. I've been in and out of the industry over like I think like 10, 11 years, bouncing between fitness industry and drainage, and a couple other things. But if the fitness industry is very hard to be consistent financially.
Mm.
And
Oh yeah.
so, yeah, so like, like you have a great month and then the next month is like
Mm.
a drought, and then like obviously, the bills never stop, they keep coming in. So, just trying to find that consistency. And that's why it's so hard. And, to kind of stay in it for the long run. But also at the same time, those that stay in it for this long,
Mm.
there is a truth behind them saying, do what you love
Yes.
because,
Yeah. Yeah.
like I wouldn't be I wouldn't have stayed in this industry this long
Mm.
if I didn't have some sort of love or passion for it. And that's what's kind of like kept me, you
Yeah.
know, going or understanding and revisiting. Okay, like there's a reason why I'm here. Like and yeah, and like now we'll kind of blessed. I'm blessed to be around a strong team and now have a gym to open up and serve more people in the CrossFit industry, so
Mm.
and fitness industry. So
I think even to that point, like you're still gonna have those dark days, or like there's a flip. Why do I do this? Um, but you can reflect on you've been there before
mm,
and how much better it got afterwards, and then you're like, oh, actually, it isn't that bad. Just on the financial side of things, there, you've recently affiliated to
yes,
CrossFit, so you
yes,
added another bill.
we sure
Um,
did. We sure did.
but I think it's not a bad. It's I mean, it's like everyone's got their opinion on it.
Mm,
I mean, yeah, before you got here, me and Johnny having a good talk about it as well. Yeah, so what was the? I guess I wasn't going to get onto this later, but it was a good segue.
yeah.
Yeah, what was the decision there to affiliate?
Yeah, so we've been around as a brand for almost 4 years now. And so the first 3 years, or even like 3.5 years, we weren't CrossFit affiliated, but we, always kind of like being around the scene and all that kind of stuff. And I think just as you gradually grow in terms of like a business, like I think it was a great time. It was like a timing thing. And so it's like, hey, look, we're growing now, like, slowly as a business and as a gym. And we have some athletes walking through our doors that are wanting to compete overseas. So if I'm being fully, I don't know, I might get in trouble, I don't know. If I'm being fully honest, the main reason why we got CrossFit affiliated is not because um uh, like we had to like change something for our core um members or our core values. It was more like a branch. So like we have like our our foundation, our tree and stuff like that, and then like it was just a natural business branch that I think we wanted to continue to extend and serve those athletes that wanted to potentially make it to like Touring Pro or the CrossFit Games or whatever. So,
Mhm.
and like, this is a small plug, but like, Danny Ford walked through our doors
Yep,
and she wanted to, jump back in on competition and
yep,
individuals and stuff like that. And we wanted to, as a team, wanted to make her experience as smooth as possible so that she could just focus on training and being an athlete. And
mm,
part of that is to become affiliated so that she doesn't need to worry about like, like, oh, where can I do my workout? Like, do I have to go there? So all that kind of stuff we took into consideration. But it was more a timing thing for us. as a brand. And like I said, it's an extension of what we're doing, not necessarily becoming like a core thing of what we do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Well, just like go further on that.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think as an affiliate owner now, seeing like what benefits an affiliate owner gets?
Mm.
What's your opinion on that, and what more could CrossFit be doing? And again, I'm not, I don't work for CrossFit or anything. I'm not trying to be like take any notes here, but like, yeah, I just want to see you like, what do you think CrossFit could be doing, and what are they doing well to sort of keep that affiliation?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because we're relatively new to this. So like what CrossFit can do more of, I guess we're going to find out. We do get like a few questions like, what do you get? What's this and that? What what could they do better on?
Wasn't a trick question
Yeah,
either.
yeah,
Sorry, bro. I
yeah.
don't want to put you on
I'm
the
like,
spot.
shucks.
I mean,
I'm
I've
definitely
been
this guy's
affiliated.
trying to get me in
I've been
trouble,
affiliated
man.
since 2019.
Oh, there
I
you
got
go.
I got some ideas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I mean, from having conversations with those that have or are affiliated, I think it's just the more if they can be more engaging with the affiliates. I think that's from what I've heard, and so like making them feel like okay, if I'm affiliated, I want to feel a part of what CrossFit is offering as a community for the affiliates as a full. Like I said, I haven't been we haven't been affiliated for that long, so we're still kind of like this first year is kind of like okay, like let's see what is the benefits for us as a business, and to see if it's worth the investment in the long run.
Yeah.
But like you've been in it longer than I have, so you'd probably know
Mm.
more to what they can or what they should offer and stuff like what do you think?
Oh, I mean, first and foremost, it's expensive,
Yeah.
and like you have to look at it from a business point of view.
Mm.
Yes, 2019, I'd never owned a business before. I'd only like worked for people.
Yeah.
So you're thrust into this whole world, and I've spoken to Leah about this as well, because it's not things I'll just keep close to my chest or anything like that. Um, they don't teach you how to run a business, and like at the end of the day, they don't have to, but if they want it to be sustainable, there's got to
Yeah.
be some sort of give or take there. And I know they have offered courses recently in that sort of realm, and then they sort of push the two brains business thing. But if you look into that, that's an $18,000 course. It's like, well, okay, so I don't know how to run a business, I've got no money, but if I spend 18 grand, I can learn how to make money.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like a positive start to business investment, that kind of thing. So if they can, I don't even have the answers for that. I mean, I was lucky enough, I found a mentor on my own who helped me how to like
Mm.
run a profit and loss sheet, and sort of like see where the money's hemorrhaging and that kind of thing, and
Yeah.
work it
Like
out that way.
like you said, like it's a to be fair, it can be seen as like a financial burden rather than a benefit. So, when you're like I mean, like I said earlier, like the financial consistency in the fitness industry is is no joke. So, especially when you're like have a gym and stuff like that, you have so many overheads that you wish you didn't. And then adding on something like a affiliation fee,
Mm.
um, it doesn't it brings more pressure, if that makes sense. So like I said, like we're only new to this, but um yeah, like you want to see the financial upside as well, because obviously a business, like you can't ignore that kind of stuff, and where your expenses and stuff are going. So when you like for me, when we put money into something or into whatever area, um the idea is that it's going to come back,
Mm.
and like so that we can continue to do what we're doing, and that we can continue to grow so that more people can be served in somewhat way. So it's in terms of like that financial benefit coming back, I don't know.
Mm.
Like I said, I'm still quite new, but having conversations, I always think that there's like if I'm running like a franchise or something, flip, I'm giving my 2 cents right now. But if I'm running a franchise or something like and like they're representing like Saw or whatever, or like um a brand that I've created, I want to make sure that they feel proud to be a
Yeah.
affiliated. So
Yeah.
so when they hear us say, okay, I'm a CrossFit affiliated, like they have some sort of pride to that, and like even them saying that is like this is why like I want to be a
Mm.
CrossFit affiliated. And so like I don't know if affiliate gyms are like banging on their chest and be like, "I'm so proud to be a." I don't know.
Mm.
Like I know. Yeah, like I said, you've been around more,
Yeah,
but
I think New Zealand's in a hard market anyway because a lot of us
mm,
don't like to, beat on our chest about
yeah,
anything.
yeah,
Very
yeah,
very
yeah,
humble
yeah,
nation, very tall poppy, that kind of thing. There are things that CrossFit do really well to that point. Like say if you went to like a touring pro or something like that, man, they put it on for the affiliate owners. Like
yeah.
it is really cool. You are really looked after
Mm,
if you're in their environment. Um, I I think like at the end of the day, if the biggest return on investment I've seen as being an affiliate owner, and I mean I haven't cancelled the affiliation,
yeah.
is you do stand out. People do CrossFit worldwide.
Mm,
People know what CrossFit is, and so if you're looking for a CrossFit gym, you go to a CrossFit gym.
mm,
And so that's where I've seen the biggest, return on investment, I guess you could call it,
yeah.
is that if people want to do CrossFit, they go to a CrossFit gym.
Mm,
So that's kind of the biggest reason why we haven't got rid of it. The last price hike was a massive like decision we had to make,
yeah.
to going up. I suppose like because this is the only price you've seen, but like before that it was pretty sweet.
So
Um,
I've heard.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
man.
wrong timing, but right
Yeah.
timing for us. But yeah, yeah.
But then you look at like CrossFit itself, and again, like I don't have the actual numbers, but what you're hearing is they hiked the prices up, but enough gyms de-affiliated
Mm,
that they actually didn't make too much more. I don't. I mean, again, I'm not on their financial
yeah.
team. I don't know if that's the truth, but
I don't want like it to sound like that. Like there's no benefit at all to be affiliate
yeah,
gym. Obviously there's so many gyms out there. It's just yeah, I'm yet to like I said, we've only just
yes,
newly
yeah,
become
yeah, yeah,
affiliates, so I'm yet to see the full benefits of what it means to be a CrossFit affiliate. It's like obviously CrossFit as like a brand in general, like people like hear it as like a new stepping stone, whether they're coming from like another gym like F45 or BFT,
mm,
and like they're like, oh, I want to try CrossFit now.
mm,
I think the thing is, some people think like CrossFit is just like this completely different fitness thing, but it's not. Like it really is for like everyone and anyone. So
yeah,
like like I
yes,
think just the word CrossFit can be a little bit intimidating at first when like you don't really fully understand it to a certain point. But um you know CrossFit in general does help a lot of people, and so like in terms of that factor, like I do see like there's great things that CrossFit brings in terms of just I don't know, as a brand, if that makes sense, and like the lifestyle that it projects, if that makes sense.
yeah.
But yeah, like there are great things that CrossFit brings. So I don't want to be like, oh,
Well,
too
but
expensive.
that's 100% it. Like the methodology is why we do it. The methodology is why we got into it. Like the
Mm,
methodology is CrossFit.
yeah.
Like you sit there and go, what does CrossFit do? And then even in saying that, you're almost removing the fact that CrossFit itself is a methodology and a
Mm,
way of like movement and becoming better.
yeah, yeah,
The wellness sickness continuum thing they do, like where CrossFit sits on that. That is CrossFit.
yeah.
But then when you go, what can CrossFit do for me? Then you sort of remove that and now you're talking about big wigs sitting on a desk.
Yeah. So like
Um,
I think like kind of like to like kind of wrap this part of like the conversation with CrossFit is like if you're someone new to like and you want to try out CrossFit, 100%, I think you should try it out. But just remember that it's just fitness as well. Like I think we can kind of like separate CrossFit to fitness and like it's a completely different domain, but it's not. Like it's like I mean, you're still squatting, you're still
mm,
doing compound movements. Obviously you're doing a bit of Olympic lifting and gymnastics and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's still fitness. You're still coming into to move and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I mean by like when we became CrossFit affiliated, it's not to like change, anything that we are as a brand. We're still about people and creating a safe space for them to come and train. It's just now that when they come in here, we can offer them officially, hey, we do CrossFit as well. And
mm,
if you want to like, extend in this area, or if you just want to come and just push some weights, all good.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you haven't changed like your programming or the way
Nah,
you go
nah,
around
like so
coaching
we
yet.
still program the same. So it's funny, like some of our members are like, oh, like is CrossFit now programming for us? It's like, nah, like, our head programmer Johnny, um he's still programming, so
Yeah,
so
yeah,
like that's what I mean. Nothing changed in terms of what we do on a day-to-day basis.
yeah,
It was like I said, like extended branch to kind of help those athletes that wanna, you know, get ahead and potentially competing.
yeah.
So
No, that's awesome, man.
Mm.
Well, I'm excited to see where it goes for you anyway. I mean, you guys are crushing it. Well, you've owned this for 4 years now.
Yeah, so a brand, we've been a programming brand first for 2 years, and
Yep.
then we've been blessed enough to step into opening up our own gym. And like for Johnny and I, we've been in it since the start. Having our own gym for both of us, but like even like obviously I'm the one speaking, so for me it was mainly like just a workshop where we can just create stuff and just like with no
Mm,
like handcuffs or anything, or no having to ask people for permission to try stuff. It's just like, hey, this is now our workshop, and we get like the freedom just to like try and fail and try and fail and then just see what works. And like I'm okay with that, you know what I mean? Like and yeah, having that kind of like decision just to be like, hey, let's try this, let's try that. um yeah, made a huge difference in like growing as a business as a brand.
yeah. So obviously, like programming, um, sort of where it came from. You're saying like
Yeah,
programming thing.
yeah.
Where did that sort of passion coming from? Like wanting to write workouts and
So
see
yeah,
progression.
so like when we first started and I was training with Johnny and he was the coach there, and
Was it at the arena?
no, this
No.
was at Gen 612. So this was where he was working, and I gradually started working there too.
Okay.
But
Yep.
I was the athlete. I was kind of like trying to like get back into the CrossFit scene in terms of competing and stuff. And then I really enjoyed Johnny's training at the time and the programming. And I just hit him up and was like, "Hey, bro, like, what do you think about like us starting a programming brand? And I can like try to represent it as best I can as
Yep.
athlete, and you just program." And I, like his first response was actually, yeah, you probably have to like win first or something like that. You know what I mean? So and we were preparing for like a D7 individual competition at the time. This was back in 2022, and so I was like, sweet. And like basically for me as an athlete, I was like, all right, like if I want, if I meant what I said to Johnny about the programming, and like, if I see the value in what's going on here, then I'm going to have to prove, to people watching that it does work. And it's
Mm,
not just like, hey, let's just make a programming brand and yeah, see what happens. And so basically, fast forward to the comp, and I end up winning it. And that was the start of basically Soul Performance. And not anyone, we were still trying to figure out a name before the competition. I think it was like JM Programming, which is Johnny Morriff, his
right.
last name.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was like, please don't do that. And so I was like, okay, never mind. And and then we just basically came up with Soul Performance maybe like 2 weeks before the comp, and it just stuck with us. And
Yeah.
there's a photo of me and him and my wife, um, and basically that photo there was the start and the birth of Soul Performance. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice. So where does the actual word "saw" come from?
So funny that it comes from a Bible verse, which
Yes.
is behind the mural here, Isaiah 40:31, and I'm actually going to pull it up on my phone because I don't want to misquote it. You
Yep.
you asked me this, but basically, yeah, it's just a Bible verse, and it says, "But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength; they shall soar on wings like eagles," and that's where it comes from. They shall run and not be weary; they shall walk and not faint. And basically, like how I see that verse um, is like obviously through life and stuff like that, you have some pretty tough days and tough times and tough seasons and stuff like that, and you can get to points where you're just like, stuff this, like I'm gonna settle, or I'm gonna stop doing this and stop doing that. And to be fair, like I said earlier, I've been in the fitness industry for a while, and there were times where I was like, funny fact, going back to like the birth of Soul Performance, I actually stopped coaching and stopped the fitness industry, and that's what gave me time to like compete, because I
Right.
was doing full-time drainage.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like I was done. Like I wasn't coaching anymore. I was like, yeah, nah, I'm done with the fitness industry. I'm just gonna work and train. And yeah, and like obviously thank God we didn't, because we're here now, and I got to meet like Johnny and some great people. And it's just understanding that for me, like my faith plays a big part of my life, and just understanding that even when you don't have full understanding of the picture, or you don't you feel like you don't have enough, when you put your strength in something that or someone, you know and God and stuff like that, you know that's where he allows him to show how strong he is in your weakness, if that makes sense. So, but basically, that's where the name Saul came from a Bible verse. And yeah, like when we were making a name, even Johnny didn't know it came from a Bible verse. So
Okay, yeah.
so for when I was thinking of a name, I didn't like, and then like I was like, obviously, faith for me personally is a massive pillar in my life,
Mhm.
and so I wanted it to represent something strong, something that people could relate to, but in a way where like it wasn't in people's face. Does it make sense? So when
Yeah, yeah,
people
okay.
say, "Oh, saw performance," they don't think of a Bible verse, and not saying that like I don't want them to. It's just more the fact that um, I wanted it to come across as a message that it stands for something strong and firm, and like people are proud to like be
Mhm.
behind a certain name. And then I also thought about like oh, like what about like when people like mock the name like Saw, Sore, and like say, oh, I saw this, and you know what, like that came in my head, but the name Saw was stronger than anything that was potentially could like mock it, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
but now people have fun with it. Like I mean, we have so many name boards up there, and people like have like like sore losers and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So it's actually turned out great. But that was part of like the thought process of coming. Like I really want to have a name that people would want to stand by or think, okay, when I hear that name, what do I think? And the obviously the base of it is the Bible verse, but whatever saw means to you when you hear the word, well, that's up
Mm.
to the individual, I guess.
No, that's
Hopefully that
awesome.
makes sense.
Yeah, no, bro, that was really
Um,
well answered. Yeah, so I guess going off the back of that is a real good sort of way to bring up. You got a competition that you run called Withstand, but
mm,
when I first saw that coming out, there was like a real meaning behind it rather than it just being
yeah.
a CrossFit competition. Even I've seen the programming; it's brutal. It ticks all the boxes as far as competition goes,
Mm,
but there was definitely a meaning behind it, and I guess
yeah.
sort of saw sort of leaks into
Yeah.
that.
So like I mean, Saw and Withstand kind of linked together, and so when we were talking about running a fitness competition, which is Withstand, um, once again, I wanted to have a strong name and something that like meant something. Um, and when people, well, when I think of saw and stuff like that, I think of an eagle and stuff like that. And so when I think of an eagle, like what, like like what makes them different to a lot of different animals and stuff like that. And how they approach storms and stuff like that, and how they elevate through storms and stuff like that, and just that idea, and how they withstand certain storms.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's how it came across. So it was basically like, okay, like cool, withstand kind of fits well with what a fitness competition generally like is like, hard and challenges and stuff like that. And yeah, and so withstand was the name that we called it, and it just I think it it sticks. And and then like our first one was an individual competition. So at the time, like still individual competitions are very hard to run just because financially they're not great. But yeah, they are a good. I wish there were more individual competitions, but obviously, the market says otherwise. But we started with just that, and it was just withstand, and then we did withstand together, which is a pairs, and it just kind of gradually like um, worked.
mm,
So it's like, oh, pairs, you withstand together. It's about so one of the foundations for withstand is a platform for mental health awareness. um, and one of the reasons why we wanted to do that, it's not because it's a fad, or it's not because it's a trend to like say on mental health. Like I said earlier about when I was younger and doing, when I was like 15, 16, and started gymming, like I didn't realize at the time, but the amount of mental strength that gave me, and the mental health stuff, and through fitness, was a huge benefit into me, like growing up and stuff like that. So mental health kind of came naturally. Obviously, I'm pretty sure people watching, everyone probably knows someone that deals with mental health in
mm.
their own way. And that's quite close to me, and it kind of hits home a little bit. So um, I said to Johnny, hey, let's be, if we want to be different, than a lot of other comps, then we have to have something that we stand by that means something to us, and mental health was it. And yeah, like we're still learning like how to deliver that message right now. Like with Stan, I think we do a great job of exposing and like like have like building awareness
Mm.
around the subject and conversation. But like funny enough, like we don't get any funding or anything like that for our comps. It's been based off like local businesses that just want to help us with their services and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
sweet.
So, like, if you run a comp, you know like how expensive it can be,
Mm.
and so like we're still learning like okay, how do we like get our message across and still provide a good competition and all that kind of stuff. But how do we take that next step through mental health? And that's something that we're still learning. Like me and Johnny, I don't think like we can say like yeah, like we were like built to be businessmen. Like we're
Yeah,
learning on the go, and I
yeah,
think
yeah, yeah,
most business people know that.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, for me, I'm okay with that. Like I embrace everything. Like, and I embrace the fact that I don't know a lot of things, and like I'm just gonna go for it and figure it out.
Yeah.
So
So I guess for like someone going to do, and this is like just a natural plug for Withstand now, but because I remember when it first came out, I remember seeing some videos,
mm,
and you used to, I don't know if you still do, but there was like a talk involved, like a
yeah.
chat. You were
Mm.
openly talking about, um, I guess the message. What like is that still going on? If people come to compete?
Yeah, so like we still like have conversations like like through like how we produce that message is like through our wads a lot of the time, and like through the build up we try to like have conversations about it. It's a tough one, man, because even if I personally like start to speak about it, I said this to one of my mates. It's like I don't want to feel like or disrespect those that are going through it right now, especially if it's someone that I know or that I love. And um it's like a timing thing. It's like I know that right now they're battling something and it's affecting, like people around them and loved ones and stuff like that. But I don't want to jump on like public and then I don't know, like I'm still trying to learn how to communicate that
Yeah.
because it's not that it has happened, it's happening. Do you
Yes.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
so because like certain things around mental health is happening like, directly right now present in my life and other people's lives that are running this business or running the event. It's hard for me to sit here and talk about them and then they're not here to talk about themselves, but like they haven't necessarily given me a permission or they haven't necessarily um have accepted that they have a issue.
Yeah. An issue.
Does that
Yeah.
make
Oh,
sense?
100%, bro.
So
Yeah.
like that's why it's quite tricky for me. I'm still learning. Like I mean, someone out there might hear this and be like, "Oh, just go for it." But it's more like I still want to honor and respect those that are dealing with it that are close to me
Mm,
and that I love very dearly. And maybe one day I can have that conversation with them and they give me the permission to really talk about it. But all everyone really needs to know now is that like what Stan and the message behind it means uh a lot to me.
yes. Yeah.
And to our team as well.
Yeah.
And so however I do that, I want to respect what they're going through, but also build awareness through what mental health can do, and to be fair, mental health, when we talk about mental health now, it's always a negative thing, but it's also a positive thing as well. Like when I said, like when I used to train when I was earlier, like the amount of mental health benefits that I got without realizing, like
Mm,
the mental toughness and doing stuff that you don't want to do and showing up and all these little things, and how far effort can take you, like man, like the mental health aspect. It's like when I talk about physical health, you don't be like, oh, that's completely like, a negative subject to talk about. It's like physical health has a
mm,
positive. So does mental health. So I think we're still trying to learn how to deliver that message in a way that's authentic to us.
mm.
And that it hits home to many people that want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Mm,
I don't think I've heard anyone do the mental versus physical health thing, but that
mm,
definitely makes a lot of sense, man.
yeah.
And I think it's important. Like, I don't think I've done a podcast yet where mental health hasn't been brought up,
Mm,
because so many people struggle with it, and in
yeah.
their own ways.
Mm,
There's no like one size fits all mental health
mm,
problem. Everyone's suffering through it, man. So no, I think keep doing what you're doing, man. And like, from my limited experience of dealing with mental health, with other people. There is no right way to do it. You don't know if you're ever going to get their approval or if you're doing it correctly or whatever. So as long as you're treating it, from my perspective, with a certain amount of respect, like
Mm.
you are doing, I mean, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's a tricky one, man,
mm,
because like obviously, like I mean, like with the generation that we're growing up, like I'm 31. Are you in your 30s?
34, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So
yeah,
so like yeah, like when we were like earlier 20s, 19, like it was like we weren't really talking about this stuff as much, like
yeah,
like when I was 15, no one, and I started training like from 15 to like 20, maybe two. No one was talking about mental health. You
mm,
know what I mean? Like
yeah,
at all. Like it wasn't even a thing. Like I go to the gym for physical, like get
yeah,
big biceps, whatever.
yeah, yeah,
So like, but the subject now, like, like that's what I mean. Like we talk about it, which is great, but like, the suicide rates are still like crazy. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, flip, I don't really want to like go down this path, but like when we talk about mental health, the seriousness of it
yes, yeah,
is still very real. And the thing is that our norms today, like for example, social media and the comments and stuff like that, and how we communicate, um, has a massive effect on mental health now, because obviously, like, we're growing up in a time now where we do spend a lot of time on our screen. I mean, you're probably watching this on your phone right now,
mm,
and like the amount of time that we spend on that. I was actually talking to one of my mates about this. Is like how we communicate now is like completely separated from like real life reality sometimes.
mm,
So, for example, um, if I was someone in the comic section, right, and I wanted to, like, I am so free. Social media has given me a platform to be so freely expressive, and so if I see something that I don't like, I can, be in a private account and now express to you how I truly feel, and that's just like, and I just lay that all out on like, oh, this person is like da da da, and this person's da da, this, and all this negative stuff. But that's become such a norm now that you don't do that face to face.
nah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah,
what I'm trying to say is that, like, now that that's how you, like, communicate and consume like certain messages or whatever, um we are slowly starting to understand how effective that has mentally. You know what I mean? Like, and it just detaches us from um reality,
yeah, 100%,
and so like for example, I was talking to my barber and he was like cutting my hair before, and he has this young fella coming, and like days when you just can't be stuffed and whatever. So like, and like he didn't want to talk, like, because like, in barber you have to talk a lot,
yeah,
and basically like he wasn't getting his clients to come back to him, and most of the feedback was because like no conversation.
yeah,
And so the guy was like, my bar was like, man, like trying to tell him, like, man, you got to talk and stuff. And
mm,
then he goes, why? Why didn't you want to? Yeah, like, why
mm,
you find that so hard? And his straight up answer was like, "Oh, I just don't care." Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
like
yes,
his
yeah,
words, like, I don't give a if, like, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like, but that was his real answer. And like the fact that that's acceptable now, to in terms of like, if I can't be if to you, even though it's part of my job,
mm,
like, yeah, like it's almost a reflection of how they communicate online.
mm,
For example, if I send you a message and I see it, but I don't open it, but I know you miss it. Well, I'll miss it. I'll talk to you later.
mm,
And so I can't be stuff talking to you, or replying back to you. And so now that's more of a reality of how he communicates than when he goes to translate in real life and I'm face to face. Like, I just can't be bothered talking to you.
yeah,
And it's like, oh shucks. Okay, so going back to the mental health thing, like this is what I mean by like how effective or how deep mental health can go, that with the little things that we now accept as norms, is actually working against everything that we say that we want to stand against when it comes to mental health. You know what I mean? So, um, but yeah, funny thought.
no, that's good, man. That's good. You said something before that I wanted to circle back for, but I can't. I remember what you said now, but it was really cool. I'm sure it'll come back to me. But like, I mean, the platform you're doing, and to do it through fitness as well is really
Mm,
cool. I'd never seen it before, so
yeah.
yeah, I hope it goes from strength to strength, and it looks like it is. Started individual, gone pairs now. Do you do a teams of six at the
Yeah,
moment?
so
Yeah.
last year we did our first team of six, which was with Stan United, and so like I said, like it just kind of like worked out together. Like so, team of six. So funny that how we got into the competition space in the first place, right? Going back to when Johnny and I were just talking, we ran a camp for NZ Nationals, so
Yep.
champs. Sorry, NZ National teams,
Yep.
which is team of six. And I remember telling to Johnny like, "Hey, look, if we do this," and this was like the first time that like Jen was putting in a like a RX Elite team. And so I said, like, look, I want to like put in some real training for this. So let's like book out a weekend and start like, doing camps and stuff like that. And that's what we did. So we did our camp. We did like a Saturday and a Sunday together. And what we did saw performance was we put all our programming out on social media for what the athletes were doing in the camp.
Right.
And yeah, we just put it out there, and then I think 2 weeks later, Deech messaged me and then asked me like, oh, do you want to you know potentially program an event, which was Oceania at the time.
Mm.
And so that's how we got into like the whole programming and competition space, not just for individual athletes or class programming stuff like that. And so so going back from there, our first competition programming was 6-man comp. So you'll be able to like scroll all the way down to where we posted it. And so fast forwarding it to Withstand United, it
Mm.
was almost like a natural growth thing. So it wasn't like, hey, let's just randomly do it, and with no experience of programming a team of six or whatever. We did it like when we first started, which was almost 4 years ago.
Right.
And so yeah, we're staying united now, and that was a great one, man. Like that was almost like a competition because we don't make any money, whether you believe us or not. We don't make any money making competitions, but I always say to the team, there's something there. Like there's something there, and whether it's a financial benefit or not, I believe that we should still do it because it's exhausting, man. Like, and those that do competitions, you don't want to run your team thin. You know what I mean? So having them on board is so important, and for them to understand or for them to see why it's so important and the vision of it. And so when Withstand United happened, we had a moment. It was like that could have potentially been like our breakthrough competition. You
Mm.
know what I mean? Just like the amount of people there, um, just the purpose of it, and just like being like, man, like, yeah, we don't have the finance to back up everything that we're doing, but these moments here that's happening throughout the day, um, is worth it at
Yeah, it
this
makes it
point.
worth it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So, and to see where it goes from here, we'll find out.
Yeah. Well, I suppose, like you said, you've been in the fitness industry for a while now, so you can lean on a lot of that. Also going through your programming and that. But like, I mean, that's like, you've said some things in the last year around competition and stuff like that.
Mm.
So it'd be nice to get your thoughts on. That sounded like I was having a go then. Just edit that bit out.
Shucks, if you hung around this long, this is probably
Yeah,
why
maybe.
you've waited and yeah,
Oh
click
man!
this video.
But listen, like, you, look, yeah, you made a video online, but I
Mm.
don't want to make it just about that one
No, no,
competition, New
Frank,
Zealand
go hard.
Nationals or anything like that. What's your thoughts on the fitness industry around competition,
Okay.
this sort of side of the world?
Yeah. First off, I love that there's opportunities for people to compete. Okay. So, like, the more opportunities, the better. Right. And then it just kind of like weeds out the ones that are just doing a competition to make money, which I don't think there are many. I can't think of a competition that, like, maybe that's like their sole purpose because I mean, I've been doing it for long enough, little enough to understand, like, it's not the best financial return.
Mhm.
So it weeds out like that kind of stuff. And for us as a gym, having competitions give our members, like little like goals and stuff like that to work towards. So there's definitely like a massive benefit, and I'm so grateful that there are competitions out there, multiple options that people can choose from. One thing that I think having multiple competitions as a effect on us right now, or on the yeah competing side of the industry, is that um, people aren't training necessarily properly for certain competitions, especially at the higher level, if that makes sense. And so, but yeah, so going back to the competition, so I just think what I've noticed over the time, so like obviously I programmed for a couple comps, and so what I've noticed is that the level of like RX athletes, let's say like the top level RX athletes, I don't know if they're putting in the proper time to train for a certain comp. So, for example, if I like just get invited to do a comp and I haven't like like I'm like, oh, I'll just jump in. I would just make a team, like for just this and that, and see you later, bro. And they're not putting in the time that maybe they should have, and so when they show up to the competition, they don't perform as well. But it's like the level almost has dropped, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
like for example, like we all have like champs coming up, right?
Yep.
And so they're in August and stuff like that. And people are going to put the right amount of time to compete at that competition. There might be another local competition where they're like, oh, just jump in and do that. And they don't perform as well. Um, so why I'm saying this is that like so um I programmed for an event. For one of them, where I think it was for Oceania. I love this event so
Yep.
much. I programmed for Oceania, and automatically because I've been around, it's like, oh yeah, sweet. This is the level mean.
Mm.
Like they should be fine, right? And there were a couple wads where it's like, when like people do wads and they're like, man, did you just want to kill us? Like, and then it's like,
Yeah.
interesting. Like, no, that wasn't the
Yes.
purpose of it. When I was programming it, I had this expectation that this is the level of RX that is, I guess, from my experience, usually the point. So, 60 total bars, for a team or two is not that much, for RX level.
Yes. Yep.
And so there was one WOD, and I had tested it. I had tested the WOD with like people who don't really like some like there was a team of four, I think at the time, yeah, for Oceania, team of four, and we tested it, and two of them were like intermediate,
Right. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
performance, and we were fine.
Right.
And it was the first event of the the first WOD of the event, and the amount of people that didn't finish very like really surprised me. And I like was like had a like thought to myself when I was driving home. I was like, was that a programming mistake, or was that was it the fact that the level wasn't the
What you thought it
level
might have
that
been.
I thought
Yeah.
it
Yeah. Yeah.
was? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then let's say if it wasn't the level that I thought it was, is it because the level has dropped, or I think too much of the level?
Mm.
And then I think like, well, I tested it, and people might be like, oh yeah, but you've competed. It's like, man, but I'm not like this top 10 dude in New Zealand. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's guys like who like smoke me in competition, but having an idea of like what a level or expectation for this RX is, like, you know what I mean? So going back to like the competition, I think we have too many athletes now that just jump into competition unprepared and thinking, I'll be okay. And then getting smoked and then blaming the program.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%, man.
And
Yeah.
yeah, this has been a thought on my mind for a while,
Well, I mean, you've
like,
been programming events and you've been programming for a long enough time. I
yeah.
think the way you explained it there, like you've tested the event, but even saying that, like thinking about it now, it's 100% the truth. Like I mean, I'm probably one of those people. I always do it. I'll be like,
I've
oh,
been one of
I'll
those
sign up for an
people.
RX
Yeah.
comp. I get down on my, oh man, like
I get a message and be like, "Hey, you want to jump in?" And it's
yeah,
like, "Oh yeah," and my training's been inconsistent. I've been eating like crazy, and
yeah,
it's like, "Oh yeah, I'll just jump in." And then I get there, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that was so hard. It must be the
mm.
program." It's like,
Yeah, bro.
nah, hold on. Like I didn't train for this. I jumped on
Yes,
this last minute. That's the result I got,
yeah,
and so that's my like going back to the competitions. Like that's like I think is a small effect that it's potentially having on
mm.
the level that we potentially want for New Zealand, in terms of growth and stuff like that. I think athletes are competing more than they're trading,
Yeah.
potentially.
As a
Yeah.
programmer, like your perspective on, and this is like a hard subject, and there's no, I can guarantee there's no right answer for it. But like on programming an event, whether it's 1 day, 2 days, whatever, um, what's the sweet spot? Like, are there do's and don'ts? Are there, what are you looking for?
Yeah.
In that sort of
So
environment.
I'm big, just because it's part of our story. I'm big on just working with what you got. And so if I have 10 barbells, I work with 10 barbells,
Right.
right? And so like I'm not trying to create a program and then try to quickly get all the gear to try to follow it, unless like obviously I have time.
Right.
And so like when I'm programming, for me, I'm always thinking about how it runs the event first. And what, okay, so what's the equipment we have? Okay, how many bays and this and that? Okay, so instead of trying to make it too complicated, what can I do with this gear here? Or what can I do with this floor space, with the venue and stuff like that? That's usually my first initial thought. Um, and then my second one is like, okay, let's put certain equipments together, dumbbell and box, or rig and barbell, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I try to use those combos together as effectively and as fun as possible in terms of as an athlete. So the good thing is like when you're a programmer, like it's nice to have a little bit of like athlete experience, like kind of like being around competing and stuff, so that how it will feel
Yeah.
when you do something,
Yes. Yeah.
rather than just like, oh, I think that will be a good idea, and then just like absolutely kill them. And but that's usually like the process. And then I always think about like, because it's a competition, I like variety. So, like I don't want to just be completely dominating just all legs or just all core or just all forearms. So I really try to spread that out in the most like creative way in terms of like what movements we use and stuff like that. And obviously you can go and check back like, a lot of our programming online and stuff like that. But I always like to see it as a whole like point of view. So like for example, for West we like to run a lot. I usually always put it in the start. One, I might be giving out my secrets now, but one, like if we can do a mass start, we usually do mass starts. That's huge for us, but it's a run, but it saves us a lot of time.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, like, and it's like pretty cool. Like, and like running is just like, it's not going to be like body breaking, but it's everything that everyone can do.
Mm.
And so like we start at 7 and we finish by 9. And now we've already got all our athletes through and within 2 hours. And that now that whole running aspect is gone. So when I think about like programming with Stan, I always think about like the time that it takes too. So like, I don't want to like be dragging on too long. Obviously the breaks too, like don't want them to be too short, too long. There's a big process,
Mm.
in terms of the sweet spot. I think is just your overall um package, if that makes sense. So it's
Yep.
not just one thing. It's like when the sweet spot is when the athlete goes, that was a great comp,
Yes. Yeah.
run well. Um, the programming was fun. Yes, there was probably one that like was super challenging. There was one that was different. I think one year we did like we brought out bikes and stuff like that, and just on the field. And so like trying to hit all those little things at the end of the day is like, okay, how did the athlete feel of it? How did the spectator feel of it? And then how did the team feel running it?
Mm.
So like I think like for me, I can do a better job of looking after our judges. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's how I'm thinking. So when people like say, "Oh, you just program, you just write up anything," like you're wrong. Like it's obviously you haven't yet. Like if you are wanting to
Mm.
program competitions, experience how important, like your programming is almost like your final, like your main course for dinner. Does
Yeah.
that make
Yeah.
sense?
Oh, 100%,
So
man.
like the program, and
Mm.
people like will look over it and like, but your programming is like this. If this doesn't hit home, like everything else is going to be a shambles.
Mm.
And so um yeah, programming is no. I take a lot of pride in programming and respect to those who do it,
Mm.
and I do like hold myself like and our team to when we do programming for competitions, um, at a high standard for sure. And not saying that we always reach it, like we're always learning.
Yeah.
Um, but it's like when it comes back to us, like, oh man, that my forearms are real dead. When people say to me like, oh, my forearms are real dead after the day, I take that as like, okay, flip. What did I miss? And it's like, shucks, they had a grip here, they had a grip here, and I didn't notice that. I just saw legs and arms, not the fact that they were holding dumbbells and holding rigs, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So that's like, as long as like I can take the feedback and our team can take the feedback and then we can like adjust it a little bit, just a little bit. Yeah, that's going to be good for us.
The programming side of it, I 100% get. Like, I've programmed the whole time I've done
Mm,
coaching and only affiliate, and it's like outside of CrossFit as well. I love programming. It's so
yeah.
cool. Like, it is honestly like
Mm.
the chef's kiss moment where you're like,
Yes.
holy
Yeah.
shit. But you still get it wrong. I think there was a chipper I did last Friday. It was
Yeah.
10 rounds. Most people were just getting through 8 rounds. I was like, okay, I got this. To be fair, I got the loading wrong,
Yeah.
100%. But like, they still got to work out in. But it's like stuff that you can adjust,
Yeah.
for later on down the track. And like, it's just like a tangent on my own now. People jumping on Chat GPT to get workouts, man, really frustrates me because of how precious like you find programming. You're like,
Yeah.
it's so cool when you get it so right and you can see that like it's hit the mark. But also from like a performance like outlook, I'm like, I know how much they're gaining. Maybe not from competition, 'cause I've never programmed a competition.
Yeah.
That's a whole different kettle of fish. You've got like 4 or 5 workouts,
Yeah.
and then now you're managing like fatigue management and stuff like
Mm.
that. But like, to see like where the athlete is getting growth from what I programmed, I
Yeah.
love that
Yeah.
shit,
So
man.
like
Yeah,
that's a good point there too. Like programming, like when I'm talking about programming, I'm talking about competition programming.
yeah,
Like that, I would say in terms of programming, that would probably be like more my strength, like or my enjoyment in terms of programming. In terms of like programming for like the everyday athlete or
mm,
like classes and stuff like that. This is the beauty of I think Soul Performance is that that's Johnny's like bread and butter. Like
yeah,
you know what I
cool,
mean? Like
yeah,
he loves like and he's so great at programming for um every level when it comes to classes and
yeah,
stuff like that. So there's so many different aspects of programming that obviously, if you just got to use AI, yeah, you're gonna miss the mark a few
yeah,
times. I'm not saying like like people like my mate was like he was doing like squats or something in the class, and I was like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I just AI this like squat program or whatever. I was like, oh, okay, sweet, me. So obviously that's adjusting with times, but yeah, like there's a certain creativity that and like love for programming that you want to and like a certain vision and stuff like that when it comes to CrossFit, oh sorry, programming for competitions. Like for example, my very first one was like publicly was Oceania
yeah,
for the very first Oceania for D7 team of 8. Never done a team of 8 before, but man, like that competition that day, like once again, like when I told you that we're Stand United, there was a moment like, wow, like this was a breakthrough. Like that competition, that Deech allowed us to come in and program a few years ago. That was like a moment of like, there's something here, and I remember one of the photographers coming up to me. I was like, man, like this is so cool to shoot. And now all of a sudden, bam, I'm now thinking about how the videographers and the photographers are going to see the workouts. You know what I mean? So
yeah, yeah,
because his feedback to me was like, this is gives me so much variety to shoot in terms of like taking cool photos and stuff like that. I never thought of that as a program, but now I do.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
So it's,
cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
so it's like each event. It's like maybe not every event's gonna be like this awesome, like take photos for
yeah,
everyone, but maybe there will be one that I'd be like, this event is gonna bring some real cool photos.
yeah,
But like I said, like that's something that as a programmer that you have to think of now.
yeah,
You can't. It's gone are the days that like you can just write up anything and be like, yeah, sweet, this will work. Nah,
mm,
and like I'm a big believer. If you are programming comps, you got to test. You have to test because like unless your purpose is to just see how far they go, well, thank God for AMRAPs. That's
hmm,
what AMRAPs are
yeah,
for. But I just there was a gap at a time when I was like competing, I started to like notice, and I wasn't programming then. I started to notice that so many people weren't finishing like consistently in certain competitions and stuff like that. And I was like, let's just test it,
mm,
And then like some people will be like, man, da da da. And so I like our team take big pride in we take the time to test.
yeah,
And so like let's just say like I'm doing a program for a competition and like they ask me to program and what do you charge and stuff like that. Well, I take in consideration the whole amount of time. If you want someone to just write up a wad for you and send it to you, and just like based off what they think, I'm probably not that guy.
mm,
Like, and it's probably a cheaper version for you to find someone else to program. But like in terms of like testing and people like this the I think this is where like I may be a little bit different. When someone says that doesn't matter, I usually say it does.
Mm,
And so I put more time in those things that a lot of people potentially will ignore. And I double down on that and be like, no, this matters. We're gonna do it this way. And not in a way where it's like this is the only way. It's just
mm,
like because people are ignoring this, we're not gonna ignore it and we're going to use it to our advantage, if that makes sense. So testing is super important as well.
mm.
Yeah, so like obviously all the programming and stuff, there's so many elements to it. And there have been times where I'm like, oh, does that matter? And I'm just like, it matters.
Mm.
And then you're just so thankful that you did think it mattered
Yeah,
because
yeah,
when it comes up on the day, you're like, thank you. I'm so glad that I didn't cut that corner.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's mean. On the like the competition programming stuff, I'm actually programming for a 24-hour event at the moment.
Nice.
We've done it the last 2 years through a different 24-hour program, but we wanted to raise funds for a local sort of. So we're doing it for the Tiamutu volunteer firefighters.
Yeah.
So all the proceeds go just towards them,
Man.
which is good. We just know where the money's going, and,
Yeah.
and we're but holy man, like, because the whole thing about it is that you do one workout every hour on the hour, but you're in a
Yeah.
team of 6,
Yeah.
so like you don't have to do every single one.
Mm.
But it's all sort of based around hero workouts and like paying
Yeah.
tribute, and like this is the most challenging programming I've ever done because I know fatigue management is now on like another level, man.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I've done it for 2 years, not programming it, so I know how it feels.
Mm.
Like at 3 a.m., like I think there was like 130 deads last year, and I'm like 130 deads, yeah, I can do that. But 3 a.m., I'm like, I don't know
Yeah. Yeah.
if I'm even awake right now,
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's been a massive challenge. So,
Yeah. See,
uh,
like for that kind of stuff, like because we've done a 24-hour challenge as well,
yeah, so
and we
yeah,
just let anyone and everyone program. So like obviously it's all situational, right? Like if you're doing it for like that cause, like
mm,
right, like and I mean for us, we didn't like when we did our 24-hour one, we just let people create workouts that meant something to them
oh wow,
for
yeah,
what the event was about. And so there was one WOD that someone sent us in a crazy heavy WOD, and we had just finished like 7 hours. So it's like similar to what you
yeah,
every
yeah,
hour we do something,
yeah,
and you get half an hour break and then go again half an hour break,
yeah,
and for 24 hours. And we all sat there like, if we don't do this one now, we had to do it at midnight. But when he sent the reason why, it was like, okay, sweet. Like, yes, is this like physically smart? No. But our whole purpose of doing this event for 24 hours for charity or
mm,
whatever is for the whole reason why he sent it. So we don't have to like absolutely like crush every workout, but this is us to pay respect to him sitting in the time
mm,
to write a workout for the person or people that they wanted to represent. So like in that case, I think that's a little bit different. Like you can get a little bit crazy with whatever program you're doing when it comes to that kind of stuff. But yeah, like I said, programming is situational. Like
yeah.
sometimes it's just it is what it is. So.
Yeah. We got some like out of it stuff, like because we're using a lot of the firefighting equipment. Like
Nice.
one of them's like a 14K bike erg in a team of 3.
Yeah.
But at the 12K mark, you got to do a like a 30-second hose reel run. And like I've
True.
never done
Yeah.
that before. I'm like, that's pretty cool, man. Like, yeah.
But that's
so
what I mean.
just-
Like that's
yeah,
that's the cool thing about those kind of events is that you're gonna do stuff that you don't know and crazy hours that you usually don't do.
mm,
And yeah, like it just sounds really familiar that we did a charity event for cancer. For Withstand, and it was 24
nice.
hours.
Yeah,
And once again, like, and it was so cool. Like those kind of events bring people together. I think that's the main reason why bring people together and to build awareness and raise some funds for the cause.
yeah, yeah,
And like so, I would say like in that like situation, the program can technically take a back seat.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like
The causes of
yeah,
it.
the
Yeah,
cause
yeah,
is the point there. You know what
yeah,
I mean? And yeah, you're are you programming the whole 24 hours?
yeah, right, yeah,
Yeah, see, like that's pretty crazy. So that's a lot of stress too. So I mean, yeah, whatever you're deciding to do, like
yeah.
obviously, big ups to you. That I've never programmed a 24-hour event.
Well, you get to a point where you're like, yeah, you're doubling up on movements. You're
Yeah.
because
That's
you
it.
got to do
Yeah.
24 workouts, man, and
Yeah.
a lot of them are chipper workouts.
Yeah.
I've got like hero workouts that are pre-programmed anyway. So
Yeah.
you're like, it's like it gets to a point where the cause like has
Yeah.
to like matter way more than
Yeah,
what you're
that's
doing.
it.
Yeah,
Like we did a 6-day event for construction, like mental health for construction,
Yeah.
workers and stuff like that. And man, like when we were writing, it, we were like, oh yeah, 6 days straight. So 6 days represents like 5 days normal work, and then the Saturday is overtime.
Yeah.
And so like we're like, yeah, sweet. So from I think it was like from was it 6 or 7? 6 to 6, I think it was. So 12 hours a day, 12 hours on, 12 hours off, representing 12-hour shifts, right? And so every hour, I think we had to do like max distance on a row. Oh, well, yes. Oh, bro, it was something crazy. Like, I have to look it up, but it was like, and we were sitting out on the row and the machine. So it was row, bike erg, and ski erg.
Yeah.
And I think, sorry, no, I think it was like 3-hour shifts. So like we switched every half hour for like 3 to 4 times. So maybe 4-hour shifts. And then we like had like a half an hour break, like this smoko
Yeah.
break. And then you did another 4-hour shift, smoko break, and another 4-hour shift. So three, I think it was like 3 hours, three and a half hours. Anyways, it's all online. And when we were writing it, it sounded like a good idea. When we started it, it was like
How many
crazy.
people were you doing this with?
It was me, Johnny, and Tonga at first for the first day.
I was saying that's crazy, by the
Yeah,
way. Like, well
yeah.
done.
So like he'll jump like so me and Johnny always alternated every hour. So
Yeah.
I did half hour, he did half hour,
Yeah.
I did half, and we were just always doing that. And then I think after the third or fourth hour, we'd go for a 2K run with a weight. And so this was all for mental health and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was crazy. But the great thing is that people started coming in throughout the week, and like they'll come in and do a shift with us, and then like they'll sit on their bike and da da da, and then like bro, there's cool ass footage online, but
Mm.
like when we look back, it was pretty like stupid programming wise, but the whole point of
Yes.
it was
Yeah.
like, hey, we're standing up or standing next to a group that does double shifts,
Mm.
like as per normal,
Mm.
hard construction, like, because obviously at home for me, because I used to be a drain layer, like, doing overtime and all this kind of stuff. And, not necessarily getting the best pay either, and, but yeah, so like those kind of events are very special. And I like going back to the program idea, like, don't be too hard on yourself on that.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
you're
Yeah.
doing, for the reasons why you're doing it, is it overpowers,
Mm.
if you do more than enough squats or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Oh fuck, we've been going on for a while
Yeah,
here
we
now,
have.
but enjoyed every minute, and I know there's like another hour here as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah.
But
But you lead into whatever conversations you want, and
no,
we'll.
no, I'll listen. I'm going to wrap things up because I actually have to get back on the road soon.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
But I did want to just look, at the end of the day, you're someone that I sort of look to as has their ear to the ground as far as the New Zealand fitness industry sort of is, and whether or not you agree with that or not, I definitely do. And I know there's a lot of people out there that see you as that sort of person as well. I just end on your thoughts on that. I guess like within obviously the functional fitness realm, like what were your thoughts on where the New Zealand fitness industry is around competition, outside competition?
Mm. Um. Uh. Shucks. I think it's definitely developed over the last few years. Like, like a lot of my time competing, in the NZ space has been New Zealand nationals, and so, um, a lot of my experience there has been what they've delivered. I think over time, there's been new competitions that have come up and potentially, offered, um, maybe higher level, or like, different, offering like a different quality, whatever. Um, like NZ Champs is a great experience, great example. Um, the way that they ran NZ Champs last year, um, almost was like, this is the new level of competition.
Yeah. Okay.
They had a live,
Mm.
broadcast, and it inspired me to want to compete again. And I think if ideally, when people go to competitions as a spectator or maybe as a beginner or whatever, it inspires them to want to compete the next year, or wants them, this is what I want to do. And so, like I said, like, I think it's developed to the point where like there's so many options now. I think competitions have a responsibility to look after the community, in
Yeah.
terms of like, if they come to your competition and they're the first, your competition is their first experience into like the community, you have that responsibility to make them be like, I want to do this next year or da da da. So that's what I think anyway, as like a programmer and event runner. Like it's like when people come to my events, I want not only the athletes to come back, but potentially, the spectators be like, I want to do this next
Yeah,
year
yeah,
or whatnot. So that's my initial thought on the competition space right now. So
yeah.
yeah.
No, that's good. I think it's a good place to wrap it up there. Um, I mean, thanks for coming down.
All
Thanks for
good.
welcoming me into your gym and
Yeah, no, all good.
getting to
Thanks for
sit
having
down.
me. I mean, obviously we just spoke. Hopefully there's a bit of value there
Oh,
for
mate,
you to
there's
use.
always
And
value. There's always value, man.
yeah.
It's always nice when the guest knows what
Mm.
they're going to say and talks more than I do. So
Yeah.
I'd have to carry it. There's definitely been some difficult ones where, I'm
Yeah,
sort of
hard
looking.
out,
I'm like,
hard out.
damn, okay, but yeah, yeah, I'm not going to call anyone out there. But now, also in Houston, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to or anything you want to say just before we end things up?
Nah, bro, I just really appreciate what you're doing. Appreciate your time, bro. And yeah, just keep doing what you're doing with the podcast. And I'm sure there's like a lot more other stories that you want to get out there that, and then also just like, yeah, massive shout out to like my team and stuff like that. Like, I want to finish off with this. Like, this here is not like just me, even though like you might just see me on like your screen and stuff like that. Saw is built off like our team, and like, so I want to make a massive shout out to them. They know who they are. Johnny, my wife, my coaches Kim and all those guys, Haley and Tonga and stuff like that. They're the reason why we're sitting here today. You know what I mean? And many other people, and many other people. And so yeah, just whatever journey that you're going on, like, just don't think you have to do it alone.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
We'll leave it there. Houston, my man.
Good to see you, man.